Welcome to Sailing Frida Visby. In this episode we will take a look around at the small desert-like island Porto Santo before we continue sailing to the main island, the flower of the Atlantic, Madeira, and its beautiful city Funchal. This is Sailing Frida Visby, cruising the northeast Atlantic islands. We have quit our working life to see the world from our sailboat, and we want to bring you with us.
My name is Anders.
I am Gita, and this is Litsa, the truly free spirit on board. It all begins with a dinghy ride.
Halloj! Nu ska vi se om det blir jollekrock här. Aha, okay.
The harbour is a couple of kilometers walk from the village. Hello!
Ja, men där kommer hon ju.
Exploring the island by bus.
Oj, oj, oj. Tjutande däck redan från början. Det var nog där man kom i land.
Det är nog... Ja, man kommer inte längre.
This is the most western point of Porto Santo, and Madeira is over there. Nice place.
That's the Cone Mountain. The beach is 9 kilometers long and the only natural beach in the Madeira archipelago. Porto Santo is known for its nice beach, clean water and good dive spots. The island is 42 square kilometers and has about 5,000 inhabitants. The highest point is 517 meters. Porto Santo has a very dry climate, as you can see, and very little rain from April to September. Porto Santo appears on early Italian maps from the 13th century, but it was rediscovered by the Portuguese who was searching for new territory west of Africa. And after the Spanish claimed the Canary Islands, the Portuguese claimed the Madeira archipelago and later also the Azores. The Portuguese rediscovery was actually a mistake due to that the discovery travelers was drifted off course due to a storm, and they seek the refuge in this sheltered bay, and therefore they also named the island Porto Santo, since they saw it as a divine interference that they suddenly got this island to seek shelter behind. The bus tour continues, and the next stop is the viewpoint Mirador da Portela.
Up here you can see Frida from above.
And not only Frida, you can see the entire marina. And when we were there, the guest pontoons were taken away for repair, so all guest boats had to anchor or lay on buoys that was not very firmly secured. The factory next to the marina produces biofertilizers with salt water and solar energy as the input, which is kind of cool, but it do make some noise when you are laying close to it. We think that this little bus trip on a couple of hours gave a good overview of the island, but now it's time for us to return to the boat. We can feel that we are further south and spring is really coming, so we need some shade.
Both Anders and I have got a little too much sun, so it's time for our shade put on the sides here on the cockpit. Actually have pretty much, despite that they lack this area, because what we do is we use that chair, put it here backwards, and you can sit in the shade. And
Our friends in Tintomar comes over for some wine and snacks.
I have made a little pickles, fried chorizo, some cheese with herbs, zucchini, mozzarella, tops, padronas, shrimps that have been marinated and fried in garlic and pepper, and some tuna rolls. You think that will be good? Melissa, is it okay? Amanda, vad gjorde jag här och Cookie! Ett riktigt äventyr alltså.
Ingen plast den här gången heller. Hej hej, så gott. Those Atlantic Islands has a sailor tradition.
This must be from the first trip, yeah. Or if they have done one more somewhere. And look for a good spot for ours. We have started the process of making our own painting on the wall here in Porto Santo.
To make it easier, I first printed out our logo and then cut it out as a template.
This time we used the electric motor. A bit easier.
A lot easier, right?
We have found a spot that we think will be suitable for our little Frida logo. We are using the same white as we used for the dinghy. It's maybe not the best paint, but it was what we had on board. Sorry, Magneta, that we...
Just killed your...
No, it dripped. We have tried to make it outside, so we shouldn't overpaint it. It's not easy to find a spot that is not already painted. But since our logo is not so big, and we don't plan to make such a big painting, we found a little spot. I told Anders that while the paint dries, we go to the cafe and have a beer.
That's why I'm painting.
Over there.
Painting so fast.
Yeah, so he's really quick. Waiting for the paint to dry, eating lupins, and we have ordered burgers as well.
Yeah, we won't survive with this.
It's something between chickpeas and tofu in the taste with some garlic flavor. This is so-called burgers. It's not quite what I would call burger, but I understand they were good. So they can call it whatever they want. They were quite cheap, €4. That was the next step. We'll go in and have some coffee before the waves, sails and the yellow in the flag. Beginning to take shape. And this is painting the flag. This is life. This is really relaxing. I've just been taking a morning swim, despite it's almost lunchtime, but
You were up yesterday making videos.
yeah. And I've been baking scones this morning.
And Litsa is keeping watch.
Visit on Tintomara.
Ja, då tar vi ett vin också gärna.
Så sa de hemma också. Jag la ut
Really
en bild
nice.
från igår kväll.
After some nice days, it was time for us to sail to Madeira.
Time for departure. We are heading for Funchal at Madeira.
Our departure became just as dramatic as our arrival because Anders suddenly discovered that we could not reverse.
There's Tintomara.
Jag tror att det är så att jag har skojat hela tiden om att vajen kommer att gå av. Jag tror det är vajen till växelföraren.
Oh shit.
Jag tror det. Det är inte bara det här är Frida kom. Ja, nej, det är vajen som har gått. Hör du att motorn
Propellern snurrar, ja.
Ja, och jag kan inte låsa den.
Okay. Ja.
Så är det.
Okay, so we have a problem with the gear for the main engine.
Yeah.
We cannot reverse. Even when Anders was trying to reverse, the boat went forward. So we think it may be the cable that is connecting the gear with the propeller. I think that's a correct description. But we are sailing anyway. We think there is more chance that we can fix it in Funchal than here. And it's supposed to be pretty light wind sail. I don't know exactly how much the wind is going to be. But the wave height can be up to 2 meters. But right now it is almost nothing. Yeah, we're still behind the island, so it's when we come off the island but before we get sheltered by Madeira that we can have this high wave height. Bye bye, Porto Santo. Thank you for having us. It was a nice little island. We enjoyed it here.
Rotera fritt för att det bromsar något mindre, i alla fall lägre farter vad jag förstår.
Okej, ja, men i vårat fall här så när den flöjlar som den ska, då bromsar det ju mycket mindre.
Ja, precis. Det där behöver du inte vara orolig för. Men det är ju bra om du kan få, det är klart att du ska ha assistans in, för du kan ju inte bromsa den ändå. Ja.
Nej, man är lite begränsad på bromsan. Vi får se. Men då så tar vi oss ditåt så får vi se hur det går. Och här ute är det 200 meter djupt.
Okay.
Some cookies or some kind of bread, sweet bread, and some coffee because I think Anders needs that after the little stress it was when we discovered that we could not reverse when we were trying to leave the buoy. But we are continuing and we have investigated a little bit, so we're pretty sure we know what it is. It's a cable for the gear, but it's very hard to get. So we can't fix it on the way. So we are hoping that the marina get the message I have sent to them that we may need assistance when we arrive at the harbor and Funchal. Otherwise we will call for that over the radio. So I'm not very worried because we still have the engine. It's only that we cannot reverse. That means that we can go slowly forward and still have a control steering. So I think everything is going to be okay, but of course it's a little bit extra stress.
How does it go?
It's fine. Reading the news
Okay.
while we're sailing at 8.5, 9 knots on the surfs.
Yeah. We still have the engine on due to the failure we had with the gear. So Anders wants to keep it so the propeller won't spin the wrong way, damage the engine.
When you are sailing in the Madeiran archipelago, you better keep good watch because several species of whales have frequently been spotted here.
Five knots of wind, and we're doing 8 knots.
We are almost that we have tucked in behind the island. I don't know, have we passed the net shelf?
Yeah, we're down at 100-meter depth now, from over 2,000. We haven't got any shadow of the island from the waves yet.
Not quite. But it won't take long. And then I'm going to make lunch. But it's a nice trip. Some of the waves are big, but most of them are quite okay.
This passage I knew it was going to be fairly windy and quite big waves, so I prepared the very easy meal, sausage and bread.
Now we are ready. Was it good?
Perfect.
The scenery is great.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not sure if it's there or there, but that's where Tintomara is going. They didn't get a place in Funchal, so they are going to Quinta del Lorde instead. And I think, I'm not sure, that might be the runway for the airport.
Yes, it is the runway, and under it there a place to store boats on the hard.
See it? There is an airplane, but it looks like it's way too high. Others can see the airplane.
On the ground now.
It's on the ground. Okay, so it was the airport.
The taxi there.
Yeah, I can see it.
We have arrived at Funchal, but we can't reach the marina staff. We call them over and over again over the radio to request assistance. You can see how beautiful the city lays on the hills, and I think every house in Funchal has sea view. And you can already see how much greener Madeira is compared to Porto Santo.
Now we are getting a little breathing break. We are very close to Funchal Marina, and we have been in contact. It was difficult to reach them by VHF, but we have phone contact with them and the Marine Police because they actually didn't reply. So we are going to get some docking assistance. We are only to get inside the harbor first, because it was something about the rules that
Yeah, and they were working on another boat that also had problems. So
Yeah.
they asked us to wait at least half an hour. So
Yeah.
that's where we're going for 2 knots now.
yeah, so boat is ready. We have fenders on both sides. We have lines out that are ready. It's just spending the time this half an hour, and then we can go in, and they will come out with a dinghy and assist us.
We are docked in Funchal. Whew.
Oh, now we are here with the assistance from the marina, and it helped a lot. They came with a dinghy.
Lucky that there were no wind. So
Yeah.
It was good one.
So now we're here.
It's good to have help with the tender.
Yes. So this is the marina in Funchal. I'm thirsty. I think I want some water. I think we have been a little too bad of drinking water.
Yeah. I also want some water.
And now we had use for our foldable kayak holders, because the marina staff was worried that the kayak would be in the way when they were assisting us into the dock. So we lifted away the kayak and placed it on foredeck instead, so nothing was sticking out. That was a wake-up call if we had been asleep. The cruise ship is signaling with the horn when they are maneuvering in the harbor, and it has a very loud and deep voice.
Probably the smallest marina office.
After checking in at the port police and the marina office, we decided to go out and eat, and we were a bit surprised to get pink burgers. Isn't this beautiful? I think maybe Funchal is even more beautiful in the evening. In our next episode, we will find out why this island is called the Flower of the Atlantic, and we will also fix the broken gear. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and please support our channel by hitting the like button, write a comment and subscribe. It really means a lot to us. Thank you. See you next time.